An evolving and emerging Indian American community committed to preserving the vast customs of a vibrant cultural heritage.
Welcome to Darshan America, folks. We come to you from Washington, D.C. My name is Ramesh Butani.
And my name is Shilpa Alimchandani. You know, Ramesh, there was a big story in the Post recently,
Yes.
a study they did about what Americans really think about the government. You know, campaign season is in full swing right now. People are debating, do you want a big government? Do you want a small government? Is government interfering too much? Are we spending too much? Or is it not enough? And there's all this back and forth about these questions. What I found fascinating about this study that was conducted by the Washington Post, the Henry Kaiser Family Foundation, and Harvard University is that there seems to be a gap between what people say about what they think about the government and the programs that they actually enjoy and appreciate that the government provides. Turns out a lot of the people who are complaining about a government that spends too much and is too big really love programs like Social Security and Medicare and actually take advantage of many of these programs. So is government really that bad?
No, actually, I like Social Security, Medicare as well, but then we pay for it. And, you know, you pay for it, you get it, it's fine. I have a beef with, and I'm sure a lot of Americans have the same beef. We don't like entitlements, and we don't want you to give our money for free, away.
But it seems to me it has a lot to do with what you label something. You know, some people just see these certain programs as benefits that we should receive as citizens, and others put the label of entitlement, then it sounds bad. The same thing perceived very differently depending on what you call it. And there's also a gap between Republicans and Democrats, according to this study, because basically what they're finding is that there's a rise in pessimism among Republicans, and not so much change about Democratic perceptions of the government. 61% of Republicans say that the country is headed in the wrong direction. That number really struck me.
It's still, there are a lot of people that really think that the country is going in the wrong direction. By the way, Republicans had contract with America in 1994. Now they have pledge with America 2010. It's basically very similar thing. At that time, Republicans won the House. This time, they're also expecting to win the House. But this time, folks, people are a lot smarter now. They understand politics, and they don't like this gimme. This gimme that you give it to your best friends. For instance, President Obama gave away the General Motors shares to the union. I mean, people are angry with that.
Well, let's just be clear here that 2/3 of Americans say that the Bush administration's actions made the economy worse, okay? And when they were asked about what the Obama administration has done for the economy, 40% say those efforts that he's made have made things better. 30% say things are worse, and the rest of the people polled were undecided on that issue, where the Obama administration stands on the economy.
That meltdown of financial industry, I think President Obama and Secretary Geithner, they pulled it out of the fire.
Yeah.
They really did. I mean, I kid you not, when it goes from 14,000 to 6,500, it scared almost everybody out.
Absolutely.
And now we are back at 11,000. There's a little more confidence. That's why people come in and now they're complaining. When you receive a complaint, it's good. It's good. That means people care. People are looking at it. You're going to have a lot of folks out there that are going to vote this November. Mm-hmm. And I really wish everyone will pull the lever on the side where it says the candidate is going to make sure he doesn't spend too much of your money.
Well, you know, that may be true. But one thing I found very interesting about this report is that half the country thinks the federal government can balance its budget by simply cutting wasteful spending. In fact, eliminating waste in the budget could do very little to bring down the size of the deficit. So if we're really talking about the deficit, it's not just about cutting waste. We've got to do a lot more than that.
That's true. Moving on, folks, since the 90s, we have been telling you the 21st century is going to be of women. Well, it has arrived. In fact, in Washington, D.C. today, there are 155,000 women that make more than $100,000 a year of income.
That's great.
Yeah, they're still not comparing to men. Men make 350,000 men make more than $100,000 in this town, in this metro area. Of course, you have heard that for every 3 boys, there are 2 girls that are in college. In other words, 67% in the Ivy Leagues are women, and regular schools, 60% are women. So if they're going to take more degrees, automatically they're going to become the CEOs and the managers in the future. Today, there are only 3% women that are CEOs of Fortune 500. So you have a lot to look forward to. And of course, there are 42 million women that are working. Did you know that?
Well, things are changing. I mean, we all see that the glass ceiling exists, but they're making some different cracks in that glass ceiling, trying to get to different levels in society. Many women in the working world, where they fall in that working world, kind of still varies a lot.
But, right here in Washington, D.C., folks, you have a lot more women simply because the nature of work in Washington, D.C. is more cognitive and not the muscle and the bronze that the rest of the country has. So we have a lot of more powerful women here. Let me give you some numbers that will be interesting. 1.5 million women are in the military, which is good. 40% of all federal employees are women.
Wow.
Yes. Half the lawyers in town, they are women. And some of these numbers are really very good. 42 million women go to work every day comparing to 56 million men. So they're catching up. Now, Forbes and Fortune magazine, both of them put out